Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we are appreciating the pleasing proportions of Mini-Pla. So I got my hands on the Voltron Mini-Pla, or Super Mini-Pla set, as you can see, that came out a little while ago, and I put this together a little while ago, and have not really gotten around to doing a thing about it until now. But yeah, this is going to be a journey, because this is the first time I've done a Mini-Pla kit myself, not just covered on the channel, but like, it's the first time I've ever put one together. I mean, not the first time I've put a model kit together. I have done that before, years ago. But this is my first ever Mini-Pla set, and I think it's cool, but it's probably going to be my last. And I'll get into that more once we get into the robot mode. But for the time being, we've got 5 lions to check out. And here they are in all of their glory, with all of their little accessories on, with their weird little mouth knives and shoulder thingies, and they look kind of ridiculous like this, so I'm just going to get rid of all these accessories. Hang on a sec. Alright, that's better, and it gets rid of all this nonsense. Not a fan of that. But with all of that nonsense out of the way, now we can look at the lions proper, and they do look really good. I was surprised with just how much stickers get away with everything in this. Like, just stickers and colored plastic, no actual paint aside from what already came with paint on it, which is not much. So yeah, set does a pretty good job. I was tempted to go in and start painting some stuff myself, but I thought it would be important to actually show off how this looks with just stock stuff that you get out of the box. Now, as a team, you can see, obviously, they're all colored differently. They're all slightly different sizes. I think it's interesting how, and it's all for the sake of the transformation and proportions in robot mode and all that, but I think it's interesting how traditionally the black line is the biggest, with then like the blue and yellow, and then the red and green is the smallest. But here, despite the fact that the black lion is still relatively big, I feel like the blue and yellow come off as a little bit bigger. Which probably has to do with the fact that despite having the body mass of the blue and yellow, the black lion has the head of the head size of the red and green, which is a little bit silly. I mean, the black lion really, as a whole, is kind of a lumpy mess in comparison to the others. It's just, I mean, it's a robot torso, so there's only so much they could do. It still looks okay, and the legs are suitably cat-like. It's got the tail, the wings fold up nicely, and the head is surprisingly both relatively posable and also is pretty cool how the Voltron face actually tucks up into the roof of the mouth. So you can still transform it and it's still Voltron's head, but like when you close the mouth and then if you just open, like you can just open the lower jaw and you don't actually get the face popping up, which is nice. You can hinge it like a like a boa constrictor, but still, I think it's cool that the Voltron face doesn't immediately pop down when you open the jaws there. Articulation's a little bit limited just because of how it transforms and everything. Like, these don't turn. You do get movement here, but it's really the rear legs that have all the articulation. And these can kind of move a little bit, but again, because of transformation, they don't have too much wiggle. And yeah, the black lion, not my favorite out of all of them. Gets the job done, but that's about it that I can say for that. It's utilitarian. Now, getting back to the team as a whole, another thing I like about these, and this is something that when I had the original Voltron, it wasn't immediately noticeable. It was more that it was, you know, the 5 different colors, but like the molding was pretty much the same across the limbs. So like the arms were the same, the legs were the same, but this was like the 1980s version of Voltron. So, you know, limitations and whatnot. Here, I really like how they're all different, not just color-wise, but molding-wise. Like if we bring in blue and yellow here, you can see that despite them both turning into legs and having sort of a similar-ish torso shape, there's still a lot of little details that set them apart, not just the color. Like the head shapes are different, the little shoulder details are a little different, the back details are of course different. And I appreciate that. I like how that kind of sets them apart. And also, I like how you could totally do the sitting cat pose, or if you futz with what becomes the ankle joints a little bit, you can also get like a kind of turning stocking pose. So I appreciate how posable these are. Now, in terms of, well, let's put the yellow one aside for now. And look at the blue one just to go over things like coloring and whatnot. So the arms on all these guys don't have any paint whatsoever. I kind of want to go in there and do silver on the claws, but like I said, I wanted to show these off just out of the box to give you all an idea of what that's like. There is this natural color differential up here with like the yellow, the red, and the blue. The silver here is actually stickers, so that has to be applied. And a surprising amount on this head is also stickers. Like the silver stripe going up along the nose, the eyes, the goldish bits there, the red bits on the little ear nubs. I believe the white here is also a sticker. And of course, this white and black bit along the top of the head, that's also a sticker. I'm pretty sure the lower jaw is normally white, but I'm pretty sure that these kind of whiskery bits on the front muzzle there are also stickers. Kind of want to go in and paint the teeth silver too. But yeah, it's a... I was thinking I was going to want to paint this thing and not even bother with the stickers, but the stickers actually do a pretty good job of pulling their weight in terms of detail and coloring. So it's pretty nice. And like I said, the posability is actually quite nice too. I definitely like that. And looking at red and green, here you can see, can totally do like a little stocky, stretchy pose, or sitting again. And there's also a dedicated hinge for the red and green that specifically are designed so that they can look down, specifically, I'm sure, for the the sitting pose. And we looked at the left side before, so we'll look at the right side this time. So, in terms of... Oh, yeah, also I like how shape-wise red is boxy and green is more like almost barrel-shaped in the front and back sections. Yet again, just a little bit more visual distinction. Coloring on this is pretty simple as well, but there's some nice breakup with the plastic alone, with like the white and the green, and like the little red strip. Of course, the 3 is a sticker. And as you'd expect, most of the stickering is on the face there. So I know the white bits here are stickers, the nose and that silver stripe going up the head are stickers, the eyes are stickers, and there's even stickers going around the edges of the ears here. Which again, I am genuinely surprised with how well the stickers kind of pull their weight here. This is a decent amount of detail, and as I said, I kind of want to go in there and do some more detailing myself, but that would be kind of, not dishonest, but it would, I feel like it'd give an incomplete picture of what you could expect if you got this for yourself and just put it together like right out of the box without any kind of custom paint or anything like that. But anyway, for a quick size comparison, I'll do the deluxe transformer comparison once we get this into combined mode, but here you can see they're not particularly large. I mean, they're decently sized for what they are. They're not super big, but then again, it's Mini-Pla, so that kind of stands to reason because Mini's in the name, right? Okay, now, gonna do the transformation, gonna speed up most of it, but I do want to point a couple of things out, and I will touch on this a bit more in robot mode, and probably rant a bit, but the thing that kind of puts me off from this set and Mini-Pla in general is the fact that these individual modes look great. They are nice and posable. They're well detailed, and with a little bit of paint, they look even more amazing. However, if I want to transform them, I need to take all this crap out of the box, pull a bunch of crap off of them, and just, yeah, it's so many extra parts that you can't do anything with, and I don't really like that. Anyway, to kick things off, just going to dump these parts out here so that you can kind of see what we've got going on here. And yeah. So, we'll just separate these into their little piles. And to show you what I'm talking about in terms of my disappointment, you've got to actually pop the limbs off. They're just on ball joints. But you do have to remove the limbs entirely and then start popping these on. So let me see if I can find... All right. So I actually went in with a Sharpie and labeled the left side of all the different ones to make sure that I could properly get these set up. So I think this one goes back here. No. Okay. I keep forgetting with these guys, the bigger ones actually go in the... Okay, I was right. The bigger ones go in the back. So pop that on. And that's the other one. And for these, you can see there's like a little slot there and a little notch there. So you just line those up and they plug right on. And this is the left side again. And there you can see there are two notches. So you want to line those up. And pop that on. And that. And pop that on. And in terms of figuring out like what cap goes with what lion, the cap design actually does match the hip design. Like you can see the two vertical lines there, so it allows you to at least tell which one they belong to. Oh, and you have to pop the tail off because, of course you do. Give that a spin, give that a spin, and pop the whole frickin' head off, including the neck, so that this can peg on... Come on, there you go. So that can peg on there. And it definitely makes for a cleaner looking arm, and I kind of like the anime robot proportions of the larger head, which also has its own set of stickers, though with this one the white is plastic. But you've got the ears, and that little bit came off while I was peeling the sticker off, so that sucked. The eyes, the strip up there. But yeah, the proportions for the arm look good. Problem is, you've now got all of this just sitting there, and that's not super great. Before I start the sped up transformation proper, I do also want to go over, because it's pretty much the same with the legs and the other arm. You pop the limbs off, pop the caps on, swap the heads out for larger, more proportional ones. But I do want to go over one thing with the black lion. There is only a little bit of parts forming on this guy, thankfully. Most of it is just swinging things around, but you do have to pop the front paws off. They just peg right in there. And that kind of sucks. Not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. I suppose you could keep them attached and just kind of have them hanging off, but as per the instructions, you pop them off, and that's pretty lame. Alright, so now that all this sad nonsense is kind of laid out and you all have an idea of what to expect, let's get to that proper transformation. And here we have our Mini-Pla Voltron. Sorry, Super Mini-Pla Voltron. And, I mean, it looks cool. It does look cool. I just hate the fact that now I've got baggies full of lion heads and tails and legs. Plus, I still have all the other weapons and crap off to the side. But it definitely looks cool. There's really nothing new in terms of detailing on the arms. As I said, with the Green Lion, it's basically just bigger versions of the heads. And of course, because they're bigger, the color breakup is a little bit different. Whereas before you had stickers, now there's like some stuff has actual like plastic. The mouths do still open on these things. They're just really, like you can see the hinge in there. It's just really difficult to get a nail in there to pop them open. Try this. Open. Open. There you go. So yeah, mouth's still open. On the feet, on the hands, all that good stuff. That's all detailing that was visible as the lions. And then we get to the torso where the other nice detailing is, and it does look good. There's these stickers on the sides here, but the yellow bits are actually plastic that are being pushed through the white bit. And the silver and gold belt is also stickers, as well as there's a little red sticker in there that I didn't realize needed to go there until after I put this bit together, so I had to pop the belt off to do that. And then on the sides here, you've got these little bits that are just plastic. And then the face, the actual Voltron robot mode face, which I think I have a little bit too down because you can kind of see a bit of a gap up there. Yeah, the proper Voltron face is painted. There's no stickers on there, I don't believe. I don't think I remember putting stickers on the eyes, so at least there's that. Did have to put the stickers for the eyes on the black lion head, though. And the stickers on the wingtips there. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. And here you can see the nubs where the black lion forepaws were. And yeah, if I didn't pop them off, they'd just be like hanging down, and that'd be a bit unsightly. But overall, definitely looks good. I'm just a little bit disappointed in that transformation. And I mean, that's more on me and my expectations, because this is the first time I've ever done a Super Mini-Pla before. But I am honestly a bit bummed out by just how much parts forming goes on here and how many parts are just sitting off to the side. That kind of sucks. That said, two of the parts that are sitting off to the side that I have not shown off yet are pretty awesome looking. And that is the shield, which is this really, really nice silver with just that little bit of yellow in the middle, and the red jewel in the center is actually a sticker. And the handle is designed so that it can plug into one of the lion mouths, and he will hold on to that. And then there's also the sword, which also looks great and is in this really fantastic looking silver with the blue grip. The nice silver and gold paint up there, and then the red there is also a sticker. Just the red, though. Everything else, that's how it comes. And there is a peg under there that will also peg into the top of a lion's mouth. I tried to clean up the sprue marks as best as I could when I was putting this guy together, but it did not... I guess we could chalk it up to me being a relative noob at the Mini-Pla thing, but yeah, could have done a better job cleaning up those sprues. Anyway, let me get the accessories into his hands, and then we'll move on. And just to show it off as I'm doing this, there you can see the little peg hole in the top of the mouth. So you just line up the peg and peg it in. Peg it in. There we go. Just peg it in, and then close the mouth. And now he's holding his sword. And it's the same deal for the shield. You can plug it in like this, although I wonder if you could plug it in. Oh yeah, you can. Cool. Okay. Wait, maybe not. Maybe flip it around this way? Maybe that'll do it? Because I feel like he should be able to hold it kind of sideways. Otherwise, what's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of that peg if that doesn't peg in that way? Alright, fine. Fine, we'll do it this way. So that just pegs in and then closes up. And now he's got the sword and shield in his hands. His mouths, whatever. And that does look cool. I mean, again, I don't regret getting this, but I don't necessarily see myself doing much more with Mini-Pla in the future because I'm just really put off by all of the excess parts that are just sitting everywhere. Though I will say, even not with the painting, just with the stickers and the plastic out of the box, he looks pretty darn great. And is quite a bit posable, which, as I understand it, is kind of the point of Super Mini-Pla. Case in point, he is pretty darn flexible. I mean, he's got, with the way things connect, he's got double-jointed knees, he's got thigh swivels, he's got hips that can go forward, back, out, ankle tilts, pivot up and down. The actual lion heads themselves can wiggle back and forth as well. And the arms, he's got double-jointed shoulders so he can rotate forward, but then there's a joint at the shoulder, and then there's also the joint that the tail is attached to in the arm. The elbows, not just they don't just bend, but they twist both here and here. The wrists swivel, and if you pull them out slightly, there's actually a ball joint in there, so you can get a little bit more range out of them there. But if you pull them out too far, then they're just going to pop off. Oh, and, sorry, I'm not used to covering articulation, so bear with me. There is actually a joint in the torso that sort of serves as a ball joint, so you can get a little bit of crunch, some side to side, and then also the twisting there. The only thing is you got to look out for this thing. But yeah, you can get some pretty good range out of the torso, and then the head can look left and right, can wiggle back and forth, can go up and down a bit. And that's actually on, move this out of the way here, that's actually on this joint. It's going to be hard to see. There's this joint here that actually connects to the torso. So that's the joint that's moving, which actually keeps the face portion of the head pretty well and steady, pretty steadily locked in, pretty sturdy. So yeah, nice posability on this guy. I mean, that's kind of the shtick for Super Mini-Pla, as I understand it. But like I said, my thing is that I'm just disappointed with all of the parts that are just sitting off to the side. My apologies if anyone wanted to see this. It's probably like 2 or 3 people, maybe. But all of this junk can combine into like a big blaster thing. And it's kind of ugly. And I'm not sure how accurate it is to the source material, but I really don't care. It just looks like a ton of parts that have been crammed together as a means to an end. So, not going to be showing that off. My apologies if that's something you were looking forward to. But it's just an ugly mass of parts. It really doesn't, really doesn't need to be. Anyway, let's straighten him out here so that we can do some size comparisons. That's why I'm standing up nice and tall so that we can get a bit more of an accurate idea of just how big he is, which is not that big, all things considered. But he does look good for what he is. Anyway, here he is with a Power of the Primes Deluxe, and you can see that he's definitely bigger than Deluxe size. I want to say maybe a little bit bigger than Voyager size. Definitely smaller than Leader, though. But that's okay. I mean, for what this guy is and what he accomplishes, I'm fine with the size. And again, it's Super Mini-Pla, so that's kind of, you know, the smallness is implied. But yeah, in case you were wondering, because I didn't know how big this guy was until I finished putting him together. And yeah, I think that is going to do it for Super Mini-Pla Voltron. He's, like I said, he's cool in that he looks cool, he's posable, he's got some really nice detail, even when you factor in the fact that like a lot of it is just stickers. Still looks pretty darn great, and I don't regret getting him, and putting him together was also pretty interesting. Like, you know, that's kind of half the fun with these things as I understand it. But I am just a bit disappointed in the fact that he's got so many parts that just sit there and you don't do anything with them. That does bum me out. I mean, I don't think that they could have possibly... Like, there's no way they could have conceivably made the combined mode this clean without removing parts. because there's no way those legs would be able to fold up into those little silver caps there. But I do wish that it wasn't quite so parts forming heavy. And as I said, that's kind of put me off of Super Mini-Pla in the future, which is a shame because there are some really cool sets that came out that I kind of had been wanting to get, but it's just all that parts excess that I can't deal with. It's just a bunch of crap that's going to be sitting in a box in my closet for however long I keep this guy displayed like this. I'm just not into that. And that's really disappointing because I really had my sights set on that Super Mini-Pla version of the Astro Megazord, Astro Delta Megazord, Delta Megazord, like that whole thing, whatever the Sentai term is for it, like those two are going to be available as a Super Mini-Pla set, and I really, really wanted to get it, and now I don't think I do. Because even though I don't know for sure, I can imagine there are going to be a lot of parts between the two of them that just get tossed off to the side in favor of a more accurate combined mode. I don't think that that's bad or wrong per se, but it's just not for me. I do believe this is going to be it for my ventures into Super Mini-Pla for at least a while. But that's enough about what I think. What do you all think of Super Mini-Pla Voltron? Any Voltron fans out there who might be able to tell me how accurate this is when compared to, say, the show, the old show, the new show? I'm not entirely sure how many new shows there are, because I know this isn't accurate to the American version, where all the lions are much more smooth, I guess, roundy. Or any Super Mini-Pla veterans out there, in terms of other Super Mini-Pla kits that you've put together, how would you say this thing stacks up? Is it common to have this many parts just getting tossed off to the side? Because, I mean, I could deal with one or two in a few places, but this is a bit too much for me. And I'm also curious for anyone who wants to weigh in terms of stickers versus paint. Do y'all think that the stickers that you get with this are adequate in terms of decoration? Because I certainly do. I think that for what it is and what you get, they actually do a really good job of fleshing everything out. It doesn't mean I don't want to go in here and do some touching up myself, but I feel like if I weren't able to go in and do any touching up, I'd be okay with it. Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And while you're at it, also feel free to like or subscribe. Any of those things would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.